It's the best local sports show in Jacksonville. This is the Action Sports Jax Postgame Show, sponsored by Anajar and Levine, Accident Attorneys.
Jacksonville, you've got Buffalo's number. Came here in the playoffs a few years back, 10-3. We don't need points against the Bills. 9-6 this time around. Not an offensive fireworks show, but how about the Jags defense? And the Jags pull maybe one of the upsets of the season in the NFL. 14.5-point dogs that win it 9-6. Hey, everybody, welcome inside TIAA Bank Field. Brent Martineau along with Dan Hicken. And wow, man. Hey, this place was filled with red and blue, but the Jags fans show up too. I don't want to misrepresent that. They are loud. We go out and sit with our families for a quarter. They are loud, and good for the Jags fans, good for the Jags players. What a win this is for them.
It's just a great win in so many ways, Brent. Our Josh Allen is better than their Josh Allen. At least he was today. What a performance by number 41. That was terrific, which led the defense. We had Taven Bryan sightings all day. He had a couple of sacks. I thought Shaquille Griffin did a great job on Diggs playing defense. I thought overall on the defensive side of the ball, I mean, where did that come from? Buffalo never really seemed to try to solve that outside blitz. You had Dewey blitzing from the side, you had Rudy Ford blitzing, and they won the turnover battle, something we talked about and harped on over. How can you win the turnover battle against the Bills? I guess that's how. And by the end, Josh Allen, who's so good, I don't care who you are, quarterback, if you get a pass rush, he was a little skittish back there, and it cost him. It cost him a win, and now the Bills, their schedule ramps up, and the Jags can celebrate a huge, so important. And think about it, the last 4 games now, who they've played and how they performed, minus the Seattle stinker, no more bye weeks. The Jags have played good football.
Yeah, they have, and they played their best football against the best teams in the league. Like Cincinnati, they look a little rough right now, but Arizona, and obviously, like you just mentioned today, against Buffalo, who is a legitimate Super Bowl contender. This was not a good performance by them. But to your point about the happy feet of Josh Allen, and he made some plays, there was a 2nd and 20 in there, and he was like dancing and dancing and dancing. Now, he ends up completing it from 8 yards, but it showed his uncomfortability with the whole situation today. DeJuan Smoot, Josh Allen, some pressure up the middle finally. Now, nobody that got their name called, but I thought there was a push up the middle, and then they dropped in the zone a lot in the coverage, and he just had to pick his spots.
And you know what I think, too? And I think this is a mistake by the Bills, and it may just be the evolution of a quarterback. I mean, Josh Allen had 49 yards rushing, like in the first quarter, and he stopped. And there were times where if he just took off, man, he had lots of room to run over and over again. But to the Jags' credit, he stopped doing it, so they didn't worry about it, and it wasn't there for him. I was surprised that he didn't try to run it more. If I was Buffalo, that's one thing that I definitely would have done.
Well, Dan, here's the deal, right? Because the Jaguars, they made some mistakes in this game, and they're still able to win. They dropped touchdown to Jamal Agnew. They fumbled high. They missed 3 kicks right here in a row.
You had the narrative. Bad teams find ways to lose, and that's what they were doing. They were going to find a way to lose this game.
Bad teams don't win this game.
No, but the defense would not let them, and that's what's, I think, so impressive, because you're right. Trevor had to leave for a couple plays, and C.J. Beathard made 2 great throws. The second one should have been a touchdown. Carlos Hyde fumbling ball. Matthew Wright, 3 field goals in a row after penalty, and missed all 3 of them. I mean, so you're sitting there going, oh, they're going to blow this. Oh, they're going to blow this. And the defense would not let them blow it.
And how about Taven Bryan today with a couple of huge plays? He's at the podium right now, the Wyoming Wildman. We haven't heard from him in years. Here's Taven Bryan. Listen quick, because it won't be long sound bites.
I got to clean up, but, not too bad, and it's always good to go with a win.
Taven, can you describe the right here?
Oh, damn.
Yeah. Can you describe the locker room scene after a win like this? What was it like in there for you guys?
Oh, it was good. It's always good to win, It's a good morale boost. Everybody's excited, ready to go.
Taven, overall, all in the big picture, what does this win mean for you guys after what you've been through the first 7 games of the season?
It's just, just start stacking them. There's a lot of games left, and the more wins we get, the better it is. So, start here, and then next week, and then the week after that, and then hopefully we can just stack them on all the way out.
Taven, take us through your sack celebration there, the first one. We haven't gotten to see that probably enough, but that's something you've been thinking about for a while?
Oh, the campfire?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what did it mean? What does it mean?
Nothing. I just thought it'd be fun.
So just to confirm, Taven, it's not a yoga pose, it's campfire.
Yeah.
Okay, so is that like a Wyoming tribute, or is it just
Nah, not really. I just thought it'd be fun.
like roasting the quarterback?
Yeah, kind of. I guess it's just like a fun deal to do.
Okay, gotcha. Did you consult with Josh Allen or any of those guys before you came up with that celebration?
I don't think so. No.
Did you see him doing the gator chomp?
Oh yeah.
Taven, can you just talk about like having a game like this and what all you've been through to try to have a game like this? What it means to you to get a breakthrough game after you had many opportunities and couldn't get it done?
Oh, I just think it's a good start. Let's see what next week brings me. Good, perfect. Y'all have a wonderful day.
They're not allowed to come down here?
All right, that's Taven Bryan, and what a night. What a day for Taven Bryan. Listen, nobody wants to leave right now. Everything's pretty cool. It's a fun day. So
What a beautiful day, too, man.
You mentioned turnovers, okay?
Yes.
Here in the Jags postgame show, we got Shaquille Griffin. Let's get to him, and then we'll talk about turnovers a little bit more. Here's Shaquille Griffin, who I thought played another nice game against Stephon Diggs.
Everybody's talking today.
Feel like a winner. So that's one way to speak about it. But you talk about what we coming from, the loss that we had, the previous week, to come back and bounce back the way we did shows a lot. And one thing that I said, you can tell the difference. I was just looking on their sideline, and one thing I noticed, I was like, I don't think they had the same energy as us. I feel like if you feel like one team deserved this win, it's us, but you got to believe that. So one thing I kept preaching, I let everybody else look on these sidelines, just watch how they walking around, it's like they don't care. I said, they don't deserve this. Now show them why. So now we got to continue that momentum. You feel like you put so much into it, you deserve this. Go get it. So, feeling's great.
Shaq, so during your college time at UCF in 2015, there was that struggle season there, and then you guys turned it around as a school program. Can you kind of parallel that to what the turnaround looks like, and what experiences with that or knowledge of that did you use to kind of push that momentum into going into this kind of a turnaround for the season, the possibility of a turnaround for the season?
Mm-hmm. Man, you took me back to my 0 and 12 years. Jesus.
About this year there was with your brother too, so there you go.
Yeah, I feel like that was a different time for us. Different coaches. We got to turn around. We got a new coach. My brother started to play more. I feel like the reason why that season turned around was because of number 18, Shaquille Griffin. Being the person that he is, amazing player. He's the best in the country at the time. So, I think that's the reason for the turnaround. I feel like now, I feel like you just believe in each other. I feel like I speak about it a lot, but it's true. And I feel like that's half the battle. Trusting someone is going to do exactly what they need to do. Coaches trusting the players, players trusting the coaches, and all be on the same page. I feel like that's the reason why it's turning around, not just Shaquille Griffin.
Shaq, assignment-wise, were you designated to be on Stephon Diggs, or how did you guys come up with the game plan, and how did it actually play out?
I think I turned to a traveling corner this year. So they pick a number, and I follow wherever we go, sideline, locker room, bathroom, wherever we go, I'm going. It's pretty much a thing now.
How would you, obviously, he's a perennial All-Pro. How would you evaluate your performance on him in particular?
Well, I'll let y'all evaluate my performance. I feel like I did really good. That forced fumble, if anybody's seen it, you got to make sure that's on the stat sheet. I got that ball out. But I feel like I did a phenomenal job. Him as well. That's someone who I got a lot of respect for. He'll tell you himself, a couple players coming up to him, and I love your game. There's something that, I've been battling this guy, since I got into the league, so I got much respect and, love going against him. So, I feel like my performance is really good, but I'll let you guys, run some stuff on media, and I'll see what y'all put.
Hey, Shaq, you guys, recorded 4 sacks, hit Allen a bunch. How much did what the defensive line do really help you guys out in the back end? Seeing them have a game like that, how much does that kind of compliment you guys? Something
that we talked about, the D-line can't work without the DBs and the guys in the back end. The back end can't do nothing without the D-line. We compliment each other. A lot of plays, a lot of sacks that we get was winning one-on-one battles, and then also covering a little longer in the back end. Like I said, we play off each other, so I don't want to discredit none of the DBs or the guys in the back end who've been covering their butt off so the guys can get sacks. And the D-line will tell you themselves, they got to respect the guys in the back end doing what they do to make sure we can make the plays we make, but we can't do one without the other. So it was an amazing job to feed off each other, covering well, and getting to the quarterback and making the plays we need to make. So, amazing.
What was the?
Do you think that the Buffalo Bills underestimated you in this way of a trap game?
Yeah. I feel like every team does. You know, I feel like, you know, you talking about teams, you talking about people. I feel like a lot of people doubt us. But, you know, you feel me, the games that we put up before, you know, you give every right for guys to kind of doubt us. But we got to prove them wrong. We got to prove ourselves right. Actually, I'm going to fix that. We got to prove ourselves right. And I feel like the main thing is all we got, we all we need. You know, we try not to focus on the outside noise. You know, the media got to do their job. We understand that, but if we focus on that, you can't do your job. You got to focus on one thing at a time. And right now, I'm focusing on this team. You know, and that's what's going to carry us. But yeah, we got some doubters. But I've been an underdog my whole life. Appreciate a lot of players in that locker room who felt the same. So we're gonna run with that chip on our shoulder.
Thanks, Shaq.
I appreciate you guys. Hey man, y'all go ahead and y'all talk a little noise and stuff on that media, man. Make me look good.
That's Shaquille Griffin. Listen, he's got a right to talk a little bit today. That's a heck of a performance. When I said this even before the game, I said it this morning on the radio, Dan. I was like, listen, if they win this game, they're going to be like, hey, nobody gave us a chance. Listen, the Jags haven't given anybody a reason to give them a chance over the last couple of years.
You were on the radio this morning? I was on the radio this morning. I want to say this about Urban Meyer, right? There is. No Robinson.
It's a good coaching performance by the whole staff today. Here's Urban Meyer on the podium.
The city of Jacksonville, and then also our owner. And to see that locker room, to see our stadium, even though Buffalo, you know, I give credit, Buffalo's a great organization, great players, and to travel like that. But really appreciate our fans pumping them up. And I pulled that set off a couple times on those third downs, and they were great. Our fans were great. I'll answer your questions.
Hey, Urban, can you describe your pass rush today and what this win means for you guys?
Well, Josh, someone said Josh the last few weeks. Josh has been really that all year, but he hasn't had the help inside. You know, we have not had that penalty. And so I thought Roy was hurt a few weeks. Taven Bryan came in and did a heck of a job. Alex Glances, Alex and Adam Glances, I'm sorry. And Jihad Ward gave great penetration inside, and that forced the quarterback. A lot of those sacks you saw when he was scrambling away from the interior pressure. So really it's a combination of both, but those guys are great. And but the interior pressure really set up a lot of things.
Urban, overall, you've had games where you're giving up 20 points plus. Now you go out there and have that kind of performance. Did you see something in practice this week that led you to believe that this was coming?
Well, we transitioned to bye week. I know it didn't show out in Seattle. It actually did. We held them to 220 total yards, Seattle, and 60 in the second half. You know, we transitioned a little bit, and Joe Cullen and his staff did a really good job. We really believed we were going to be a man coverage team, and we had to adapt. And we're now a pretty good zone coverage team because of the hard work the coaches and players put in, and a lot of that was zone coverage today.
Urban, could you just talk about the scene in the locker room afterwards, what that was like? Because you've described previous celebration scenes when you were at Florida. What was the one like today?
Well, so, you know, you hope to get more accustomed to winning, which I believe we will. But that's a very, you know, I think Shad said at one time, there's a perception of Jacksonville, there's a perception of his team, the locker room this, locker room that. That's a great locker room. I've been saying that all year long. We've had some close games. They stuck together, and you just beat one of the best teams in the NFL. So I'll fight for that locker room. I believe in that locker room, and if someone has something negative to say about that locker room, they're incorrect.
Could you be more specific about the scene in the locker room in the postgame?
I'll get you a video.
I'd rather the players can tell you about it. You know, should have had the spokesman, Shaq, talk about it. It was what you think, a bunch of guys enjoying each other and a big win.
Urban, if you could just elaborate on number one, Matthew Wright's performance. Obviously, the bulk of the scoring, the entire scoring was all field goals, and then he missed the 3, and then also I know is still taking kickoffs. Logan Cook previously took kickoffs. If you could just also clarify why Matt was taking them.
Yeah, Matt, obviously we had that one where we missed one and missed 3 on one shot because of the penalties, et cetera. But we have a lot of confidence. Our players do. Our players love him. You know, 55. I think he had a 55-yarder today. Had all the scores. He's part of our team now. And I made the comment after London, most people didn't know who he was. Now he's a big part of this team. They enjoy him. But our punter was getting a little bit of, it's just such a different, I've had that happen to punter before. That's an injury waiting to happen if you have your punter kick off too many times. So Matt did a pretty good job. Our kickoff coverage unit wasn't very good today, so we got to get that fixed.
Yeah, Coach, it wasn't lights out stats for the offense, but did Carlos and then Jamal on that one play, did those guys give you kind of what you were looking for in the running game? I think there was one called back as a penalty, but did you feel like they did a good enough job?
No, I felt our running game really was, you look at statistically, we didn't do very good. Right before the game, Cam, in pregame warm-up, Cam Robinson back locked up on him. And I really thought James Robinson was going to play up until this morning. We took him out in the field and he just didn't feel that we should have him back next week. But Walker Little came in and against the top defense in the NFL and really hung in there. I thought Bev, and I was involved in that too, that we wanted to do certain things, but the way our defense is playing, we're not going to screw around. And I was disappointed down in the red zone. When you get down there, we get paid to score touchdowns, not field goals. I remind everybody that we got to do better. But it was at times conservative because of the way our defense was keeping Buffalo intact.
And one more thing, you've been telling us, I think, since training camp that Rudy Ford's not just a special teams player.
No, he's a great player.
I guess we should believe you now.
Yeah, he's a great player. He's, it's hard to, when you watch him play, he's one of our better players, and I know he hasn't got many opportunities in the NFL. Well, he's a hell of a player.
Urban, how good is it to put together 2 full halves, complete football game?
Well, it's complementary football, and that's kind of what we talked about. And our last night's meeting was all we do is our video guy does a nice job putting together, and it's just all we ask these players to be the best version of themselves, and if they are, they're pretty good. If they're not, they're awful. And we saw that last week. That was awful last week. It's not bad players. No one ever said that. But the best version of ourselves is pretty good. The first half against Cincinnati, at one point you're beating a really good Cardinal team 19-10. You hold Seattle to 60 yards offense in the second half, so the best version of yourself is pretty good. And they kind of bit into it and believed it, and they had a good day today.
Did you feel like it's going in the right direction?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I get so upset about last week because I really felt the momentum coming. And you can see the way they played early in the year compared to the way they're playing now. It's not even close. Just last week, but we got to move on. We just got to get ready for Indy now.
Getting that win in front of a Jacksonville crowd, how did that just feel for you personally? Because I know, Jacksonville and its fans is something you talk about a lot.
All the time, and our players talk about it all the time. And we have a vision. We're building a brand new facility. We want to make this a destination spot. Our owner wants to make Jacksonville one of the top cities in the United States of America, which we already believe there's a lot of positives about Jacksonville, but a great football team really helps in developing this whole area. It's one of the most beautiful areas in the United States of America with great people.
Take a couple more.
Urban, what does it say about your team over here? Sorry, when you make mistakes the way you guys did with the drops and Matt Wright, but you're still able to overcome that and win a game, does that show that the build is starting?
Well, the great defense piece is what saves the day. And we were hoping we'd have a great defense earlier in the year, and at times we didn't play great defense. But the last few games now, our defense has hung in there and done a heck of a job. And when you have injuries on offense, you have a young quarterback, you have this, you have that. Great defense is how you win games, and you complement each other. And I thought today was a perfect example of that.
What happened with Trevor, and how is his ankle?
Low ankle sprain. They took him in for an X-ray. He's coming here in a minute, but he's ready to fight me when I won't let him in right away. So I had to remind him I'm still the coach.
How far did your heart drop, though?
Just like everyone in that stadium. I imagine even the Buffalo crowd, because you don't see that to a young player. But he came back, and I thought CJ, how about CJ? He practices, and with Trevor, he gets most of the reps. Just because he's young, you don't give him any of the CJ. I'm really proud of him. He's a pro's pro.
Urban. I want to kind of piggyback off of what he was asking because, you had the touchdown. Of course, it was taken away because the ball bounced off the receiver in the end zone. And then, of course, you had the fumble and give the ball back to Buffalo. So how do you keep that? How do you keep the spirits up as you go into halftime? And it's 6-6 at that point. But how do you?
I didn't say much. The players did. We got some pretty good leaders developing in this locker room right now, and they're a little bit of us against the world mentality, which I like. I like the fact that when you have good leaders, coaches can say all you want, but those leaders stuck together, and I just felt a real confident defense that entire day out there. I saw them coming off the field, talking to them, and they were very confident. You're talking about the number one offense in the NFL.
Thank you.
That is Urban Meyer, and I mean, what a win for Urban Meyer. It's a signature win in the NFL for him. Absolutely, It's only been 2, but that makes up for the Houston debacle in the week opener, or the opening week, quite frankly. But heck of a win as Trevor's approaching the podium.
Yeah, like I said before, I think for Urban Meyer to get this win without James Robinson, nobody thought this team had a chance. And we hear Cam Robinson's not going to play, and Walker Little struggled, and they still found ways to scrounge up enough points. And again, can't say enough about the defensive effort today that we saw.
Well, there you go. Trevor Lawrence walking to the podium. It's a good thing he stayed healthy. A low ankle sprain. He played the rest of the game. Didn't have a great game, but he got a win.
Coming up here after a win, then not.
Could you give us an update on your ankle and how that's doing?
Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit better. We scanned it. Nothing concerning there. We'll see how it feels tomorrow, the rest of the week. I'm sure it's going to be sore, but we'll see. Just get a bunch of treatment and try to get back healthy.
Did you feel it was worse than it turned out to be when you initially heard it?
Yeah, no, I thought it was a lot worse. Then after some time, and we scanned it and it was good, and then put a little bit of weight on it gradually. I was feeling better and better. Give it a little bit of time. It helped, but man, it was cool to see CJ go in there and be ready and just threw a couple great balls. That one to Ag was a freaking dime that he threw, so that was cool to see him just go in there and be ready.
Trevor, what was it like for you seeing the punt roll and the time, run out, and then being able to get on the mic and shout Duval and have that interaction with the crowd? What was that moment like for you?
Man, it was awesome. Like I said out there, just the fan base has been great. Obviously, this season hasn't gone exactly how you plan it. I love where we're at as a team right now, though. But they've been out here every week, filling the stadium, loud, making it a great environment. And it was nice to, we won one in London, but it was nice to win one in front of the home crowd, and they deserve that. It's been a while, so that was a lot of fun, and just proud of the guys, proud of the city. It's a good feeling.
Trevor, does this over here? Do you get the feeling this is, I don't want to say turnaround, but is it the start of something when you win a game like this with guys out and making mistakes like you guys did? Normally, you guys haven't been able to overcome.
I mean, it's great. It speaks to the progress that we're making. I mean, our defense today, that's one of the best defensive performances I've seen, and that's a great offense. Obviously, Josh Allen, quarterback, and their wideouts and O-line, all those guys. I mean, they're great players, and to see what our defense did, all the takeaways, the big stops on 3rd and 4th down. I mean, it's just fun to watch, and really they put us on their back. We had a chance to put them away a couple times. I missed 2 throws down the stretch. Like I'm kind of kicking myself because I could have put them away without our defense having to go out there and stop them again. But that's what good teams do. They make a play when you really need one, and our defense did that today. And offensively, I thought we ran the ball great. We controlled the clock. We did a good job with all that, staying in 3rd and 4th and shorter, and trying to take advantage of all those. We can definitely get better. We left a lot out there, but it's a lot more fun to look back and say what we can do better when you win, and that's a sign of a good team, and a team that's getting better when you can win games where you don't really play your best, especially on offense. Defensively, we played out of this world. So proud of those guys. That was fun.
Hey Trevor, right here. Coach Meyer mentioned that when you first came out of the locker room, he thought you were about ready to fight him when he didn't want to let you back out on the field. What was that interaction like with Coach? Did you tell him you were ready to go and wanted to get back out there?
Yeah, I came out there, and I came running out there, and I was ready to go and get back in right away. And then they were just trying to, hold on, let's make sure you're good. And CJ was in the middle of a 2-minute drive, so it's kind of a weird timing. And then they called, it was before that play that CJ threw that deep ball to Ag that we almost scored on. I was wanting to go in before then they called it. I'm just like, I want to go in. I know this play's going to score, But CJ threw a great ball there. But no, I was trying to get back in as soon as I could. They were trying to make sure I'm all good, so it was good.
Obviously, I know you guys would have loved to have had James in this game. What do you think, message-wise, does this send to the rest of the NFL that you guys can win a game without him playing for you guys?
says a lot, just the things that we overcome. Obviously, every week, every team has something going on. You're missing guys, whatever. It's just how football is. But to have one of our best players out, especially James, and our rushing attack, how much better it's gotten each week, and he's obviously the key factor in that with the guys up front, and to see us really not miss a beat. Obviously, you miss James. He's a great player, and he would have made a bunch of great plays today. But to see Carlos step up and Dare and all those guys, it was cool. And then also think about Walker, left tackle. Like, I mean, that's a pretty big moment, playing against the #1 defense in the league, and gets in here today, and nothing's been wrong with Cam all week, and then boom, it's game time and he can't go. I mean, that's kind of, I don't know how much more difficult that could be if you're a left tackle and you don't really have any idea that you're going to play, and then you have to go in there and play every snap of the game. I mean, just him stepping up, being ready, it's really cool. And that's, like I said, a sign of a good team when you got things like that happening, you still find a way to win.
Speaking of Walker, just wanted to clarify, was it that he backed into your ankle, or do you not even know what happened with the ankle injury?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was, but I mean, it's like he was blocking his guy, and I was just kind of standing there after the throw, and just one of those situations, happen sometimes. But I mean, he was blocking the guy, so it wasn't like a free hit or anything.
I was just going to ask, have you ever played in a game where there were only field goals scored?
I don't think so. That's why I said it's like it's such a good feeling when you can play like that on offense. I mean, we had some great moments, some great plays, and I thought we did a good job controlling the clock. But when you can miss those big plays and still find a way to win, I mean, that's a good feeling. Obviously, like I said, I'm kind of kicking myself because I know I could have played better down the stretch. And as the season goes on, I'm going to have to. Like, our defense isn't going to get 4 turnovers or 3. I don't know if it was 3 or 4 today. Every game, like that's a lot to ask them to do. So we got to play better, but it's a good feeling to go back and watch the tape after a win, and you can kind of sort it out then. But right now, we're celebrating this win, and we're pumped.
Trevor, obviously great moment, great win, just like you said. But now the question becomes, how do you build on this? What are you guys going to take into practice in the coming week to kind of build up to the next game?
Yeah, it's just not making it bigger than it is. Like I said, when we put our best out there, I mean, we can play with anybody, and we did that today. And more so just playing physical, really just dominating the line of scrimmage. I thought we attacked more this game than they did, and that was, I think, the difference in the end. Obviously, on offense, like I said, we had some plays we left out there, but we just kept attacking. And up front, the guys were just mashing them. We ran the ball really well. And I think that mindset was really what ended up allowing us to win that game. So carrying that forward, but nothing changes. We got to keep preparing every week, and we can't think that we won a game, all right, now we're good, and it's just going to keep rolling. You got to still put the work in and do everything you can to get another one. And I have no doubt this team will do that and see us getting better every week, and to beat one of the best teams in the league. I mean, that shows it. So it just shows we can win any way we need to. I mean, in London, we threw for a lot of yards, ran for a lot of yards, scored some touchdowns, ended up having to win the game, end of the game on offense, had to get a first down, make a game-winning field goal. And then today, played great defense and just grinded it out and found a way to win. So it's awesome. Awesome. Thank you all. Appreciate you.
That is Trevor Lawrence coming off his second career win. You all right over here, Hicken? The Jags get it done. Listen, the offense was really awful. Yeah. Trevor Lawrence wasn't great. 118 yards passing. I think they had 200 and something yards of offense. The running game without James Robinson, you mentioned that. Carlos Hyde did enough, but he also had the costly fumble. Yeah. And so we're going to talk about this win a lot more. We're going to put a bow on the postgame show. We'll hear from DeWine Smoot and Josh Allen a little bit later on tonight on Action Sports Jax prime time. But I wanted to get that turnover stat in. Dan, this is the first time since October 27, 2019, the Jags forced more than 2 turnovers in a game. Unbelievable. That's 31 games. Yeah. And they've won the turnover battle 3-1. That's what they had to do to give themselves a chance, and it offset a couple of mistakes like the drop and the fumble.
14.5-point underdogs. Great crowd at home. A lot of Bills fans here. Thought they were going to have a great weekend. Couldn't go any better than Jackson. What a much-needed win for the organization, for Urban Meyer, for these players. And onward and upward, if they continue to play well, build off this, get to 5 or 6 wins on the year. Then next year, playoff spot. If you only win 2 or 3, and then you win 5 or 6 or 7 next year, you're still on the right trend, but we want to expedite this process. We want to go all in the offseason, find some big-time playmakers, and help this offense out.
I thought the Jags coaching staff out-coached the Bills, and they were a more disciplined team, too. By the way, the Bills had 12 penalties for a ton of yardage in this football game.
That referee group,
oh, boy,
was the worst. I say this all the time, and boys, I mean, and our head guy, we got to get the numbers and the teams right. I mean, that was, in the beginning, there was all kinds
of bad start.
Just kept going and going, and then there was strange penalties out of the blue and unsportsmanlike. Oh, yeah, on both sides. Let them play.
Yeah, more than it's about 20 flags in this game, so a lot of whistles. All right, we're going to have Action Sports Jacks Primetime coming up later on tonight, 10:30 on Fox 30, 11:30 on CBS 47. Come on and celebrate a Jags win with us. And by the way, celebrate one of the most dominant performances we've seen from a defensive player on an individual basis, maybe in the last 15 years. Josh Allen was terrific for the Jags, better than Josh Allen for the Bills. And, hey, that was a lot of fun. Hope you enjoyed it. So check us out tonight, CBS 47 and Fox 30. Say goodbye, Dan.
Maybe 2 and 6.
Have a good night, everybody.
It's the best local sports show in Jacksonville. Thanks for watching the Action Sports Jacks postgame show, sponsored by Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys.